Hey, I'm Drunk, and you're listening to Drunk Cop and a Teacher.
Welcome to another episode of Drunk Cop and a Teacher, the podcast where everything is made up and our comments don't matter, just like whatever happens to Quibi's streaming library.
Does not matter. It doesn't matter.
Who's really honestly going to buy this? No one cares about Roku Ham. I'm sorry.
Oh my god.
Before we started with the... I guess I was about to mention it right now.
So for Ham's sake, listeners, Ham sent me a headline that Quibi's streaming library may go to Roku. Mike and I don't really give a shit about Quibi. No offense to Quibi, but Ham was the one that was advocating for it. He was the probably the only sponsor for Quibi,
or trying to get sponsored.
No, he was sponsoring Quibi.
I was one or the other, both.
Quibi
whatever.
Didn't know that he was sponsoring them. And then, as we talked about a while back, Quibi closed down or is closing down, and now there's talks about where all its content is going to go, and it looks like it's going to Roku. Which, do either of you own Roku anything?
I completely forgot that Roku even exists.
I think so.
I thought they only made TVs.
No,
I thought they made
there's a Roku stick, right?
Yeah, just like the Amazon stick. Yeah, the Fire Stick.
Yeah, well, I got apps, so yeah. I don't need
it.
Also,
Roku does have a actual device like the Apple TV or the what's that shit called, the Blueberry or the Pinkberry or whatever that shit's called.
What makes someone choose that over? I guess it's cheaper, right?
Yes,
it's cheaper, and it's like you have access to content you can't get anywhere else.
I think you can modify it a little bit to get other.
Yeah, that's where I'm going for. Yeah.
I remember there was one time I stayed in an Airbnb, and the TVs that they had was they had Roku, and Roku has their own channels, in basic cable.
I'm trying to figure out if Ham's comment of fancy was that you stayed in an Airbnb or that the Airbnb had Roku.
The first part. Yeah, the first part.
Okay.
That they had Roku. Yeah.
I just wanted to make that clear.
I didn't know what he meant either, but okay, thanks, Ham.
Yeah, of course you don't.
All right. Well, Mike, how have you been, man?
Been pretty good. Just catching up on some things. Yeah, on Star Wars, we just finished Episode 2, me and my wife, because we're still continuing on that Star Wars trilogy stuff. And we got through Episode 2, and listeners, we were talking about this right before we started the podcast, of a couple of things that were very questionable about Star Wars Episode 2. There's not really much story content in that episode. It was just more to be honest, they could cut down that whole entire movie to 1 hour. Because there was a lot of dragged on love scenes that were just brutal to watch.
I think that was the point. And not trying to offend it, because I'm not a fan of it either. I think it's hey, by the way, Anakin's really in love with Padme. We need to really sell you guys on this relationship. You get it? You get that they're in love? Okay, make sure that you know that they're in love, because it's going to be more dramatic in Episode 3. And I I agree with you. I think they just dragged it on way too long. And I say false advertisement, because I was expecting more action, because it was called Attack of the Clones, and we only get 20 minutes of actual Jedi fighting at the end, and it's ugh.
Yeah, it should have been called Star Wars Episode 2, Creepy Look from Anakin Skywalker.
Better than Twilight.
Better than Twilight, yeah.
Yeah. So
although your wife said it was Twilight was better.
Well, she was just saying the romance. She was I felt it's so forced, and she's right about that though. Well, at least for me, I felt that it was super forced. Unlike Twilight, where Twilight, of course, you can't really buy into their whole loving, doving stuff.
Yeah.
But in this one, it's just there's a scene in Star Wars where I think it was Anakin talking to Obi-Wan, and he kept on having dreams about his mother. And Obi-Wan's like, well, try to fix your dreams. And then Anakin's like, I'd rather have dreams with Padme. I'm like, ooh, was that really in the movie?
That's like something you would say.
I kind of fuck you.
Well,
All I know
to be
is
family friendly, Mike.
yeah.
Man, fuck the kids.
Fuck them kids. No, so Mike, he's finished 2, then he has to do 3, and then
Rogue
7, 8,
One and
9.
Solo.
Yeah, and then 7, 8, 9.
Moving forward just a little bit, kind of off Star Wars topic now. I wanted to ask you because I have not heard you talk about work at all. I think in a long time.
Interesting.
Man, how can I say about that? Well, I'm just glad that December's over.
Yeah.
So far, 2021 has been kind of a little rough start at work.
Okay.
A lot of people think just because it's a new year, you don't need no mask, you don't need any social distance or any of that stuff. So it's just, I worked today, so that's why I was a little, I was acting like a Karen a little bit.
Gotcha.
So yeah.
All right, fair enough. All right, Ham, what about you?
I work today too, but I'm off tomorrow, so I'm starting a little early. I don't know nothing. I finished Cobra Kai. I finished.
Oh yeah, that's what I finished too.
Yeah, I finished Ted Lasso, which is this thing on Apple Plus, which I really liked, and Sabrina. If I'd had to put an order, Ted Lasso. It's basically this guy who coaches football goes to the UK and coaches football, soccer, and he has no idea what he's doing. But it's really good. I'm surprised Apple, Plus. I keep wanting to say Apple TV, had that good a show. I mean, I shouldn't be too surprised. We watched, Captain America and his crazy son, whatever that was called again.
Defending Jacob.
Yep, Defending Jacob. And Cobra Kai was good. Of course, they have no budget, but they still make it work. And Sabrina was just whatever. So next thing I will watch is The Flight Attendant and that other show on Apple.
I never really was able to get into Sabrina.
Ever watched the original?
I mean, yeah, of course.
Well, of course, I don't know.
No, yeah, of course.
It's not the same though. It's
No, not at all. It's
different.
Like that was a sitcom comedy. This is like a dark, spooky, creepy. Ooh.
No, yeah. The thing is, like, I remember watching 2 episodes, and I was just like, I'm not really feeling this. Yeah. So I just stopped watching it. But Cobra Kai was really good. So you need to get on that so we could talk about it.
Yeah, and I did hear they're going to be filming around now. I mean, beginning of 2021. So there's definitely next season. The only thing I'll say about Cobra Kai is I already figured out the ending of this season. I thought it was going to be how they ended was going to be the beginning of this season. I'm like, come on, move it along. And I'm like, now I got to wait another fucking season. This is what I thought was going to happen.
The filming is starting January 20th.
Yeah.
And they're ending it April 15th. So there's rumors that season 4 should be coming out in November or December of this year.
It's pretty quick turnaround. And there's one show that keeps popping up amongst people I know. It's called A Teacher, and every time I hear it, I'm like, God. Yeah, exactly. So I think Drug Cop and A Teacher, and I'm like, a teacher, and I'm like, oh no.
Social media is all over that shit, and it's I don't know what to say about it other than that shit does happen.
Yeah,
but at the same time, like what is the show trying to do?
Exactly.
Like I haven't watched it, but everyone that keeps talking about it is raving about it. And it's like, oh my god, this is so good. I'm like, what? Like, yeah, okay. I don't know. It's a weird topic to make a series out of.
So it's what is A Teacher? What is that?
I mean,
It's a TV series about a teacher student relationship. Like they're actually legitimately being intimate with each other.
and it's is it? I don't get the word right now.
Fantasized.
Yeah, it's just like
Yeah.
watch but don't do. It's like you, the stalker guy who kills people, or like
So a
Dexter.
student hooks up with the teacher, but the teacher is the one that's instigating the whole thing. Like is the one that's pursuing it, and basically is like then the mentality becomes okay, is the teacher taking advantage of like this younger person's like mentality, like they're not an adult yet, they don't know really what they're going for. It's just a relationship thing, but it's again the role of a teacher and a role of a student.
Yeah.
Oh, where is this at on Netflix?
Hulu.
This guy wants to
Mike's
know.
like, where could I see this at?
I don't know. I think
It's Hulu.
is it Hulu? Oh.
Yeah, it's a
Hulu,
Hulu
okay.
series.
I assume it's
Guys,
more like an
don't-
HBO thing.
Guys, don't support that show whatsoever. How many episode does it have? Okay, move
I have
it
no
on.
idea. I have no idea.
I don't know. Ham,
what you been up to?
did you? Okay, well, before I answer that, I wanted to ask Ham. I doubt it, but did you play Cyberpunk yet?
I'm pulling the mic.
I got you. Okay,
I'm
you're
pulling
working
the
on
mic.
it. You're working on
on
the
it.
case.
Yeah, maybe eventually when I play, all the bugs are fixed. I don't know.
Stupid. Yeah. So work wise, we got more students face to face. So more of my classes are filling up.
Oh, you did start, right?
Yeah. We started yesterday, but the students that were switching over started today. Yeah.
And what is so far? What's the protocol for like in the classes? Like everybody needs to wear a mask. Like,
Yeah.
is there?
Yeah, everyone still needs to wear a mask in the classroom. Anywhere at all. Like the only time they can't wear or they're okay with not wearing the mask is when they're eating or drinking.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have to
That's
sanitize their hands when they come in. They have to wipe down their tables before they leave, and then and they sanitize their hands once they leave.
Yeah, you said what you said. You have to. You mean they have to, right?
Well, yeah, they do. I
Okay.
just naturally do because I just got into that habit of doing it with them. So
Oh, okay. I
Oh,
thought
okay.
maybe you sprayed it on them just to make sure or whatever.
no, I
before you leave.
I give them the hand sanitizer on their hands, and then when they wipe down their tables, I spray the tables for them, and then they take this paper towel and they wipe down the
Oh,
tables.
so you actually do it? You do actually do it physically on them?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's what like. That's
And-
kind of weird.
And do you put the spray bottle like the liquid on them, like like bleach them and stuff?
Yeah,
like
well,
that?
what I do is I attach it to a hose, and then I make sure it's on jet, and then I just pour. Like, what the hell, Mike? Jeez,
That sounds right.
Yeah, if I was in the classroom, be like,
it's on the teacher.
I'd be like drinking it. I'd be like, all right, I'm gonna drink this. All right, cool.
But besides that, I wanted to get to this. I did start watching Cobra Kai.
Oh my god!
I'm only 3 episodes into the first season.
Isn't like already half
Okay.
the season?
They're 10 episodes per season.
Yeah, okay.
Mhm.
Third.
They're not long.
Third episode.
No.
So I will tell you what I think about each episode. Well, collectively, the 3 episodes that I watched, not saying the whole series yet, the 3 episodes that I watched, I think it's great. I think the series is starting off really, really good. I like all the lead up, the build up to Cobra Kai and everything. I think it's really good. I do have one super major problem with
God.
episode 3 though.
I thought I was gonna say nitpick for a second, but God.
You would probably think it's a nitpick. I think it's like a stupid thing that no matter how much I want to make my suspension of disbelief disappear, I just can't because it's such a stupid thing. Like, okay, so you got to think back season 3. I'll try to recap some of it for you. Right, Miguel
Season 1.
is the season 1. Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
Miguel is the kid, right?
Uh-huh.
That Johnny saves from the whatever. And Miguel is like all trusting this guy, right? He's like, hey,
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
you saved my life. I'm grateful. I'm thankful. Thank you for training me. Thank you for all this. Listen, man, I don't care if a guy takes a bullet for me. I am not gonna go to a school late at night alone with an old man that I just met off the street.
Oh, interesting.
I think I know what you mean by that. Yeah.
The swimming pool scene.
Yes, it's
The
when you
swimming pool
think-
scene where he's like, hey, meet me at the school at this time, whatever. And I'm thinking in my head, like, he's not gonna really do that, right? Like, and he's like, okay, I'll meet you there. And then like he ties up his hands and pushes him into the pool. And I'm like, Really? I'm supposed to believe that this kid is that stupid to go with some old guy after hours at his school, late at night, by himself? Like, does
Yeah, no,
really?
I didn't even think about it when I was watching it, but yeah, that makes sense.
That really bothered me, and I was like, oh, I have to ignore this. Like everything else is good, but this, okay, all right, fine, whatever.
I think later on I feel like he's gonna bring this up again. There's some
Mm,
things.
I guess I don't remember.
Okay, sure, I'll take your word for it. But
Also, spoilers, everyone, for season 4, whatever's the next one. You can quote me on this. I mean, of course, the quote's gonna be wrong, but season 4, Jackie Chan and Jaden Smith are coming back.
oh man, it's
And
like the oh shit, what is it called? The Karate Kid verse that we needed.
yeah, and also
Hmm.
what's her name from
I
Karate
actually like that
Kid
movie.
4? What?
Oh, the girl.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of her name. The girl. Yeah, yes, the girl. But Hilary Swank, right?
I don't remember, to be honest with you, but I was always thinking about that. I was like, are they gonna? I remember like watching, like I think it was for with that girl. More
Hilary
like
Swank, I believe. Yes.
probably maybe that's her. I'm not too sure what her name is, but so far, Sal, once like you watch more episodes, you realize that like this show perfectly connects with all the Karate Kid movies.
Interesting.
Yeah, I
Okay,
think
Hmm.
so.
okay,
But you see my
that's fine.
point when I was talking about how it's cheap. You can see that it's very cheaply made.
Uh, yes, but not. I don't know. I don't think not the way you're making it seem.
No, but
Yeah,
it almost doesn't matter. But I can see like it's definitely a
Like,
step
listen, if this
below.
is about the comment you made about the Japanese whiskey or whatever, I think you're super being critical on this show.
Oh no,
Then
no! That's just something I noticed. No, it's.
that left tire had a pressure of 33 when it should have been 35.
I'm sure that show doesn't check pressure or tires.
well,
They can't.
I could definitely defend this show by just the first season is that this was on YouTube Red.
Yes.
Sure,
So
but I mean, I think for even on being on YouTube Red, it's pretty good.
yeah,
Well, I mean,
it's
I
really good.
expect the quality of YouTube Red that I saw when it first came out. That's fine. But I'm saying I'm amazed. How about this? I'm amazed how good the show is with what little money they have. How about that?
Yeah, especially with a low budget show. I know what you mean. Like a low budget show doesn't seem like it's a lot of money put into it, but it's just great camera angle, great acting, great characters, and I just can't wait to talk about it a lot more
Yeah.
once Sal fully catches up because I got a couple things that I want to mention in season 3, but I'm not going to
Okay.
spoil it.
Also, and then last thing, to be fair though, the show blew up when it got on Netflix. Do you know anyone who watched it on? Did you watch it on YouTube, Red, when it came out?
I didn't watch it on YouTube, right?
Exactly. Me neither.
I
I knew
literally
about it.
watched it. I started watching this in October, I
Uh,
think, of last
okay.
year, 2020.
Hmm.
Yeah, September, October.
When
But
it came out on Netflix, basically.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
All right.
so good.
Well, I'll let you guys know when I catch up at some point in my life.
Hiya!
All right, let's move on to the main event. We got our next big hit film to talk about. It was another movie that was released on Christmas Day. However, this was released on Disney Plus. This is a Pixar movie by the title of Soul. Soul was delayed too, wasn't it? Or was it always meant to come
Mm,
out on this day? I don't remember.
It was delayed. I think it was supposed to come out like in October
Okay.
I'm not sure actually. I'm
or
questioning it.
November.
I think it not by much. I think if it was maybe a few months.
I know for me personally, I did not. I remember vividly not watching any trailers for this movie.
Oh
I
really?
I only ever saw the title cards, the pictures that were tweeted out and everything, but I never actually watched a trailer. I don't. Did you guys watch the trailer for this?
June.
Okay.
Only one time. Yeah.
Okay.
I remember watching the teaser trailer and then the first trailer and then maybe even the second one if there was one.
All right, well, the synopsis goes Joe is a middle school band teacher whose life hasn't quite gone the way he expected. His true passion is jazz, and he's good, but when he travels to another realm to help someone find their passion, he soon discovers what it means to have soul. This is a Pixar movie, like I mentioned, and Pixar does have a very good track record of
Mm,
making really good movies.
yeah.
So we'll see if that still, holds the bar here. Mike, go ahead and start us off.
So, listeners, and for new and old listeners, we did an episode of top 5 best and worst movies, and a quick little review of that. My gold card, I gave it to Hamilton, and these guys kind
Hmm.
of gave me a little crap for it because it is a play that was in 2018, recorded and came out last year in Disney Plus. Um, I want to fix that. Can I fix that?
I
But we're
mean,
gonna be a little.
we didn't
Hold
have
up.
any strict rules, so we'll allow it this one time, but not in the future.
Yeah, you're glad I'm drinking. Go ahead.
Okay,
Do
that's
whatever you want.
fine. That's fine. But I want to take that gold card and I want to give it to this movie. I think this is
Oh,
the best
wow.
movie of 2020 for me.
Okay.
I absolutely love this movie. I was very joyful. I was in tears. This movie had a message towards the end that it is in my mind every time I wake up. And this movie definitely has that strong message. And I'm going to say this. I think this is by far, for me, the best Pixar movie ever.
Wow.
The animation is fantastic.
So,
The voice acting. I know I'm a huge Toy Story fan, and I still am. But it's just I think this movie just had one of the most strongest message out of all the movies that they have released. Um, like I mentioned, the animation is fantastic. The voice acting is great. I love Jamie Foxx and Tina Fey. Right, she's
Hmm.
22, and they introduced some side characters that I would have probably liked a little bit more screen time, and especially they mentioned a love interest. I would have liked to see her a little bit,
Maybe.
but so far, I there's no complaints from me. I think this movie was a masterpiece. Um, it I love the moments that they were playing music with the jazz, and you just feel a deep connection with the main character, and it's just one of the messages that should you do something that you love as a hobby and make it as a career, or just stick that as a hobby and just do find another career of something, but just I don't know. It just follow your soul. You saw you hear what I did there, guys? Right.
Not
Follow
at
your
all.
soul. Okay, never mind. But
oh wait,
um,
this isn't Wonder Woman 1984?
I
Yeah. Oh,
fucking
they
hate
were giving
you.
gold card to. Well, yeah, Wonder Woman. Right?
Fuck you. But yeah, Disney and this movie beat Wonder Woman in streaming. Not
Oh my
financing,
God. Drink.
drinking. But all kidding aside, I highly recommend this movie. This movie was definitely a it was released on Christmas, and I saw it on Christmas Day. I saw Wonder Woman first, and then I saw this one. So this one was definitely a huge cure, and I've seen this movie twice. So
Oh,
it's
twice.
yeah, twice. And
Okay.
if anybody whoever comes to my house and asks me, hey, I've never seen Soul, I'm already warming up the popcorn because we're gonna watch it again. I love it. Green Card for I think best movie for 2020, and I just cannot wait to see what other Pixar projects that they're gonna release this year.
All
Take
right.
it away, Ham.
Well, Ham, while he's warming up the popcorn, are you getting the drinks ready for this movie?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. How to start this? Um.
This is a kids movie, in case you were going to ask that.
Oh, no, no, no. Yes, that is my default. But I had some reservations when I saw, like we just talked about, the teaser trailer. It was a little, uh, what can I say? They didn't show much. It was very, I can't think of the word right now, but
Misleading?
not misleading. I mean, it was vague. How about that?
Okay.
It was vague, and I thought maybe the animation sort of reminded me of like a rip off of Inside Out, somewhat. And I'm like, oh, are they just gonna try to copy that? Um, but it was vague that it reminded me of The Good Dinosaur, and as most of us know, or not, some of us, maybe not even that many people, Good Dinosaur was probably the worst Pixar movie, in my opinion.
Okay,
Um,
I would disagree with, but
okay. Just because I feel like they were going one way, and maybe they changed it up. Like that article I sent you, that might have
Yeah, we'll
maybe
talk. We'll
cemented
slightly
that
talk
point.
about it.
Yeah, yeah. Um, so I had my reservations, and I saw the full trailer, and I'm still kind of iffy about it. So then comes Christmas Day. I think I did watch it as well. Christmas Day. I watched it before Wonder Woman as well. Um, I will give this a green card, but it's very close to a yellow.
Huh.
Only because I feel like it could have gone a lot of different ways, and I feel like they did change things here and there as what they needed to do. I liked the story. I did not expect. Oh well, that's spoilers. But it did go a little way, or went different to what I thought was going to happen. I was thinking it was going to be deeper than it was. I mean, yes, deep, but on a surface level. I thought, because it's called Soul, and I mean, I thought they would more visit I guess, afterlife than actually doing what they did. But I did enjoy it. There are some there's a few touching scenes, and I did like both characters and the supporting characters as well. I was interested, like Mike said, about visiting other characters that didn't get enough, screen time. But there was just maybe like it could have been way better if they just added one or two more things. I don't know what it could have been, but it did feel like you're watching one movie than another movie, depending
Got it.
on. Yeah, yeah.
got it. Yeah,
But yeah, I'll give it a green card, but not a solid. It's a teetering point of a green to yellow.
got you. Is it like almost like a Guitar Hero green, where you know how the arrows are
It's almost
going
like
down to
you're
yellow?
at the edge of this big hole, and you can fall through
Mhm.
the hole. And then if you fall through the hole, you might be back to where you started, or maybe you fall all the way down.
Oh, okay, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. How about
Got you. Okay,
that?
nice.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. I'm a straight yellow on this one.
Whoa, straight yellow.
Yeah, the animation's great.
Yeah,
The music is great, but I
yeah.
don't think is given much attention.
Hmm.
I I did not see a single trailer for this. I only saw the
Hmm.
title card and an image, and that was it.
Yeah.
So, in the beginning of the movie, I was led to believe, and this is probably where maybe Ham is and I are on the
Hmm.
same page about.
I think so.
I thought it was about soul, like music, like having like
That
really tied
too.
to the
Yeah.
music part of it, which is why I was like, okay, he's bringing up jazz.
Yeah.
There was one instance about talking about black culture, and I was like, okay,
Hmm.
interesting. But then it went in a very different direction. I was like,
Hmm.
oh, this soul, okay.
Yeah.
And I did like the what's the word for it, like how they represented the idea of the afterlife, of the beginning of a soul, lost souls, which
The
I think
concept,
yeah,
or
I guess so, or how they visually represented it in the movie.
oh, yeah, yeah. I got you.
but but
Representation.
then, like, it again, Pixar has again a reputation of having these really good movies with these really kind of deeper messages. However, This is a unpopular opinion. I think Wall-E is not one of their great movies. I think Wall-E was very.
Whoa!
I know that's why I said unpopular opinion. This is just my opinion.
Oh, is it?
Wall-E is just a straightforward like, yeah, okay, humans, fucked up the world. Now, this we're trying to bring back where we got to realize our old ways. And there's like this weird kind of like cutesy love relationship here between two robots. Like I don't know. I'm sure there's more to it than that, but I just did not get anything out of it that way. And
Well,
for
to be
me,
fair, for Wall-E, I like the isolation movies, like Castaway or Someone
right.
by Yourself in Space. Well, for me, I do like those, but I see your point though. I
But for
got
me,
that.
so even though it has a deeper message, it is still very close to being relate. Like, this is so weird to explain. So I have to bring up Trolls because Trolls has a very
Okay,
deep message, but it
first or second.
is very cartoony. It's very animated, and I like it when I can go into a movie and I can just enjoy the animation that way and just know that it's a cartoon. But then I like that feeling of, oh, that's the message. With this one,
Mm,
I kind of knew from the get-go, like as soon as that moment happened, I was like, "Oh, this is the message. Is
hmm
it? Okay. Well, let me make sure." And then everything was convincing me, "Yeah, this is the message." So, I wasn't very much engrossed into the story, I think as a lot of people were. And I'm not saying it's like it's a bad message. Like there's nothing it's a good movie. I think it's a great movie for a lot of people. I think it depends
hmm
though on maybe like I don't know
Your
how you
soul.
view it. Like I think the message has always been everywhere. I think everyone already knows that, but I also feel like the movie made a couple of decisions that is kind of unfair and not like kind of contradicting the message a little bit.
Yeah.
So it was I like Ham, I was iffy with a lot of things, and I was just like, I
hmm
don't really enjoy the movie. Like again, the animation is great. Pixar is always like one up in their animation movie after movie.
hmm
So, kudos to them. They still hold the bar on that. But I just think message wise and just enjoying the movie, I had to question if this was even still a kids movie. I think this was more for adults. And so,
I hear that. Yes,
so
yes. Because
because
what kid knows
well,
about
so
afterlife and all that?
again, I
Yeah.
watched this with my kids. They they couldn't sit still throughout the whole movie. Like they seemed bored at most of the parts. The only time they really paid attention and laughed was the cat. There was a cat in the movie,
Okay.
and that was it. And they have put it on TV again a couple more times, but they don't pay attention to a lot of movie. It's just they wait for the cat, and then when the cat comes up, that's when they start watching and laughing and stuff like that. So
Right. Yeah.
it's I think it's just I don't know. It's one of those movies for me where, as I mentioned, I want to be surprised with everything, with the way like Cars 3 I think had a good message that a lot of people
Yeah.
don't
Yes.
really look into or didn't realize. Toy Story has great messages in all of its movies, but you don't think about it until after
And
the
the fourth
fact.
one.
You don't think about it until after the fact. With this, it's just like, yeah, that's the message, and I get it. Okay, you're not really showing me much to really think beyond this, and I feel like this was maybe I think it could have been done just better as a Pixar short. I think some scenes were dragged out a little bit too long,
Hmm.
and there were some scenes that were not revisited that I feel like we should have gone back and revisit this notion. Like there's two specific instances I can think of. I can bring up in the spoilers, but it
Okay.
felt disappointing for me. But I'm not gonna like the message is still good. The animation is great. Everything's paired up okay, but to me, it's just an okay movie.
hmm
Okay.
So let's go
Yeah.
ahead. Let's go ahead and move into spoilers and see if we can break it down even more. Mike,
Yeah.
Spoilers.
should have done that in like jazz form.
Yeah.
Oh wait,
Try it again.
wait.
Try it again.
What was the jazz form like? Spoilers.
God.
Okay, so into the spoilers. The movie is about the afterlife. basically. Joe is a teacher, a band teacher that seems to be struggling to find a career in his own passion, which is to be a musician, like a great musician. He finally lands a gig. However, shortly after that, he falls into a sewer, and well, it doesn't tell you directly what happens to him, but we see that he's like a little blue character now, and for the adults, it's very obvious that he died. He's dead, and this is his soul going into the great beyond, as they call it. Whether you want to call it heaven or afterlife or whatever, in the movie they call it the great beyond. He's completely out of the loop. He has no idea what happened. He doesn't believe any of this is happening. He just wants to get back into his body and just go to the gig, because this is the gig that he's really wanted the most. And he finds himself traveling through this whole concept of, this is where a soul begins. This is where a soul finds their spark, their purpose in life. And then we visit a little bit of like the lost souls, where they become like these really weird, like monster, grotesque looking things.
I like that.
Yeah, I
like
liked
that
it too.
Yeah.
I really thought that was like a very cool concept.
Yeah.
And so he then falls into a mentorship program, because he hears that there is a way back to Earth, and it's by earning this badge, but only the new souls get this badge if they find their spark, if they find their purpose or whatever. And so he tries to be a mentor, because if he helps find this young soul spark, he'll take the badge and then go to Earth with it. He's paired up with, of course, the most I don't want to say obnoxious, but the most difficult of all the mentees, who's been through many mentors. Gandhi, I think, was one of them.
Yeah, famous people.
Who was another? Was Abraham
Lincoln.
Was it Rosa Parks, or who was it?
Something like that. But listeners, you get the idea.
Mother Teresa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's like this 22, I don't know if it's a he or she. I don't think it really matters, but it's just the soul is telling John, right? Is that the teacher's name?
John, yeah.
Like, hey, just give up. Like, you're not going to do anything for me. I've been through all these, you're not going to change anything. He's like, well, you got to try something. Like, I bet you I can find something that you'll
Joe.
like. Joe.
It's Joe. Yeah.
Well, yeah, Joe. It's like, who's John? Well, I don't remember who the real name of the guy he was pretending to be, but that doesn't really matter.
And so he goes to all this stuff. Nothing ever sparks him. But they get a chance to go into the real world through some sort of ritual by a guy one of those sign spinner guys who meditates, and their soul is in there. So they meet that soul in the soul world, and then they go back to Earth. However, they fall into different bodies. So 22 is the young soul. 22 goes into Joe's body, and Joe goes into a cat's body. And so the cat, Joe, is trying to help 22 live his life, to kind of see what life is like, but also to help him get to the gig that he's trying to do. And yeah, at the end of it, because I guess there's a lot more details than I thought. By the end of it, 22 has seen what life has to offer, and really wants to be part of it. Joe's being selfish and say, no, you never wanted to. This Earth badge that you have now is mine. Takes it away, but then realizes he made a mistake, tries to go back into the soul world, and then says, hey, 22, I'm sorry. Like, you do deserve this. You should go back. And then the gods that be, or whatever, say, hey, we saw what you did. You deserve this second chance. Don't waste your life. And so Joe then begins his life anew, and hopefully with a new purpose, I guess. So that's like the really like condensed, like broken down version of it. Like, there's a lot more details to add, but I'll let Mike and Ham bring up certain things that they want to bring up about the movie that they want to talk about.
So the beginning of the movie, it's pretty funny of how he has that class and they're all awful, and then I was a bit confused of when
the teacher should know about all that.
Yeah. And everybody was pretty bad except for one student, where she got into the groove of her like playing her instrument, And like Joe was looking at her, and he's like, "You see, look at that! Like, she was in her zone." And then when he played the piano, I was like, "Okay, so there's going to be probably a musical or something like that." And then once he gets to the theater and starts playing in front of that girl, the one that he's trying to get that gig, and he went into that zone, I was like, "Man, me personally, I enjoyed the music. I just probably wish there was a lot more music."
See, that was my kind of my problem was like, okay, I thought this is about like, people, their souls into music, because music's always tied in with spirituality. I was like, okay, this is a
Hmm.
cool concept. And that's why I also brought up when what is it, the quote of like, he has a flashback about his dad bringing him to the performance, a jazz concert or something, and he talks about how this is important to us, this is important to Black culture and whatever. I was like, oh, okay, cool, we're gonna dive into this, but then it doesn't address that at all. And I was like, why? I thought this is like an important thing. I thought this would be cool to go into, but they don't. Like that was one of my issues with the movie.
The way that I saw it was just more focused on just Joe. And of course, like they do mention a lot of like his dad, about that love interest that he's in with some girl, some
It was briefly like it's like, oh, in the memory I saw whatever.
Oh, Joe's love
And
interest.
yeah, Joe's love interest.
Yeah,
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 it's we do we ever see her? I just remember her
no,
being
never.
mentioned.
no, it was
Yeah.
briefly mentioned. Maybe you see her in the whatever. What was that thing with all the memories? I forget what it's called, but maybe you see her. But I don't. I wasn't paying that much attention.
And then also too, another thing was Joe's barber, that I liked his character. I was like, man,
Yeah,
I would have liked to see a little bit more of him achieving his dreams where he wanted to be a veterinarian.
So
But
if
no, but the message says that that probably wasn't a big deal.
so
You
well,
know?
if I can bring up a slightly,
Yeah,
it's on the barber topic, but on a
yeah,
different purpose, I guess. Um, we have this moment where the barber or 22 in Joe's body is having this deep
yeah.
conversation with the barber, and the barber's like
Mm-hmm.
really happy about this conversation, and is like,
Yeah.
hey, why haven't we ever talked about this before? And he's like, oh, we don't.
Uh
And
huh.
then Joe in the cat's body realizes this and is like, huh, why haven't he ever said anything? And that's it. Like that's literally how that ends. And I was like, okay, are we gonna go back to the barber? Are we gonna have Joe see the barber again and address this? Or was this like, what was the purpose of this?
Oh,
Like,
well,
really?
I
Because
I got
I was satisfied.
I would
Because he says because you never asked, and I was like, ooh.
right, but then
well
does like, okay, so I guess what another part of my problem with that is I I want to see what happens with his new life. Like, does he go back to the
After.
barber and remember this and go, "Oh yeah, let's talk about this." Like, is he going to carry on what 22 had set in place and helped him kind of realize? Because I don't know. I,
Yeah.
I guess it's just a
mhm.
lack of closure for me. Like, I wanted to
Oh,
see
Yeah.
okay.
that more of that.
Well, to
No,
me,
definitely. Yeah, it's gonna be in Soul too, for sure.
shut up. Well, at least for me, I got the message, or at least the feeling of like, wow, okay, I've never really asked him. I really never asked my barber, or probably to other people, because he's so trapped in his own mind that he's just like, jazz is his only thing in his mind and his heart.
Mm.
He wakes up jazz. He eats jazz. He goes to sleep jazz. He probably uses the bathroom just thinking about jazz, and stuff like that. And yeah, that sounded really disgusting, but but he was just so trapped in his world that he didn't really absorb the people around him, that he could just that's the thing that I love the most about the ending, was that what is Joe gonna do? Live his life and enjoy his life, and probably and listen to other people's stories, instead of just his own, because he was just focused on his own stuff, that everything else just didn't matter to him, and that wasn't right. At least that's the way that I saw it.
True, but like, okay, so if we go to the message, right? The at the end, we have this conversation about his passion. He thinks his passion is his purpose, but then the gods that be or whoever pretty much say your passion isn't your purpose. Your passion can fuel your purpose, but they're separate things. And I understand that to an extent, but it's like also, are is your purpose like, can you be still happy with your purpose? Are you using your passion to escape your purpose so that way you continue? Like for a teacher's sake, right? Because he's a teacher. I can
Mm-hmm.
relate to being a teacher. Like, sure, your purpose may be a teacher, but your passion may be like for me, I don't know, my passion is video games, right? I love to play video games. I can talk about video games. I just want to play video games. But does playing video games doesn't feel, I guess, what I feel like my purpose is for teaching. Like I feel like I want to teach. I feel like that should be my passion. So it was kind of confusing to me. Like I was like, what are you trying to say? Like I've always thought your passion, like you should follow your passion, and that is your, like, you will find your purpose within your passion. But this one made it seem like it was the other way around, and kind of separate from each other. And like I said, for me, it was just a
Yeah.
very
Mhm.
confusing topic to grasp because I just never looked at it that way, and I just don't know if I agree with it or not.
Well, the thing is, like, I sort of got the message as in because Joe's passion was jazz, and he thought that there is nothing else in the world for him except for jazz. If he doesn't make it, and then his life is a failure. But that's not the case, though. There's other opportunities that he was able to do, and one of the things was definitely teaching. And because like what was it? The when the little girl went to his apartment and she was like, I quit. I don't want to be part of your class," and everything like that. But then she talked to 22 in Joe's body, and she realized that she loves playing her instrument. That's her passion. Maybe not a career, but that's something that makes her happy. That makes her feel like she has a soul. Unlike Joe, it's like I mentioned, like he just was just trapped into jazz, jazz, jazz. But then once he finished that gig, he kind of felt like, no, I there's a lot more to life than just jazz.
So, do you think at the end, do you think he still continued to pursue jazz, or did he continue pursuing teaching, or
I think he
both?
pursued it. I think he's doing both, and that's what the message
Yeah.
that I love was that when the girl asked him, or one of the guys asked him, "What are you gonna do?" and he just said it, "I'm gonna live my life," as in he's gonna do things that it makes him feel good, jazz, teaching, talking to people, going out, probably asking his love interest going to go out with them or something that and I understand about like maybe we would have loved to see the aftermath, but to me, I think the
Mm-hmm.
way that it ended for me was actually pretty good. It's like you could just create the imagination.
I guess so.
Mm.
Mm.
I'm already thinking about Soul 2. The concept
My
is
God.
there's no concept of time where they were. So maybe 22 is already alive in a certain
Yeah,
age and somehow finds Joe and they sort of team up and
yeah. I
I
want to
don't
know what
know.
happened with 22 as well. Like that was another thing that bothered me. I was like,
Yeah.
wait, like that's it? That's how you're gonna end this 22? Like this is where we're gonna end it
Yeah.
off? Like you just say goodbye. 22 goes into a body and that's it. Like what
Yeah.
happens with 22? Does 22 actually
Yeah.
live out? Like does the soul remember all these experiences? Does the soul, like,
Mhm.
is it going to continue on? Like is it going to understand the purpose of life or what it means to have a passion? Like I don't know. I get the lead up to it. I get the message, like, okay, this is what you have to
Mhm.
come to fruition to, but I feel like, I don't know. It's been already spewed out everywhere else about life, right? It's like live your life,
Mm.
don't waste time. Don't, there's, don't
Yeah.
make, make, what's the Miss Frizzle quote? Like take chances, like make risks or whatever. Like, I feel like that message is
I do that all the time.
overplayed over and over again. And it's like, okay, great.
Ooh, overplayed.
Yeah, I think so. And then like, but like for me, it's like, okay,
Huh.
you can tell the message all you want, but are they actually going to execute it? Are they actually going to go through with it? And that's why for me, like, I want to see the, like, for me, I think this movie for me would have been better if they condensed this whole thing into a much shorter length, like half an hour, 45 minutes, and then they give us another 45 minutes of the aftermath, the results of like, okay,
Yeah.
what did they learn from their lessons and are they putting it into action? Because I do understand the whole imagination part, like you're bringing up, like it's open ended, right? Interpret it your own way, and leave it at that. But I don't know, I'm not satisfied with that. That's just some personal take on a movie with me. I want to see the results because I think the results speak more than the lead up to it.
Mm-hmm. I see. Maybe that's why I'm the opposite when it comes to your kids. Well, yeah, maybe a kids movie, maybe not. But yeah, when it came to him falling into the cat's body, I'm like,
That's
I'm
very
like,
much meant for kids.
yeah, and I was just like, okay, I'm gonna roll with it. It's kind of weird, but I think it'd be better suited for the movie is that they would share the bodies somehow
Well, the cat
rather than him
dies,
being the.
right? Because the cat doesn't the cat go to the great
Yeah, I
beyond?
guess the cat goes. Yeah, it's like
Oh
what,
no no
and
no! The
then
cat went back to his owner after the train scene.
I think well they've eventually
Yeah,
I
but
think get it
remember,
back,
we
but the
see the
cat was
cat's
gonna go
soul
to
go to the great beyond.
yeah. But I think it does go back just like the guy, which was funny, not funny, where they get the random guy, the
Oh
whatever
yeah,
the
they got
weird
his soul inside, and the guy's like, "Oh, I made a mistake. Here you go."
yeah.
Like I would have liked to see
So,
his reaction after. Did he go
yeah, that scene
crazy?
was a little like yeah, it's like don't you better stop eating processed food or I'll see you soon. But really, I'll see you soon. But I don't know. That character was but uh, yeah,
Well,
like I said, I think I'm sticking to what I said, a Green-ish almost, but I could see both of your guys' points. But what the big thing was is what I saw leading up to the movie. I'm just like,
So, at the
man, I
risk of
don't
maybe
know.
going too deep here, and hopefully not crossing any lines here, I think it also like depends on where you think you are in life, like yourself, and how you're watching
Interesting.
it. Like, so, Mike, excuse me if I'm going too far with this. Like, I don't mean any insult or anything, but like, no. But like,
Uh-oh. Oh,
Mike
I
is
know
actively
what's next for
pursuing
me.
things, right? He's actively trying to find a new job. He's trying to find something happy for. So for him, I feel like this movie speaks more volumes to him. Where like I feel like I'm in the career that I am. Like I feel like this is what I want to do, and I'm good with.
whoa, you crossed the line. And I'm
But like
like,
I'm good with it, and so like I want to see I want to see what the results are. Like for me, like first I'm teaching a student. I could teach the student. I teach a student for a whole entire year. I don't know what happens to them after that. As soon as they leave middle school, I don't know like if they learned anything life lesson wise or content lesson wise. I don't know, and so that kind of bugs me. And so I want to see the result. I want to see that aftermath. And for me in my life, like that's something I have to accept, and I'm okay where I am in my life. So
Mm,
like me and Mike are in different
mm-hmm.
phases, I guess, in my life. I mean, I'm like 20,000 years older than him. So like,
Yeah.
our
yeah, let me do the
we're
math on that.
that's why I think we see the movie differently. And I think that's going to happen to everybody that watches this movie. That's why I had the question, is this a
Interesting.
kids movie? Because I don't think this was really intended for
I don't
kids.
think so.
So to go to a headline really quick too, that the Ham
Yeah.
had brought up was like that this movie had apparently several endings, alternate endings to it. And one of the ones they were initially going for was like, you know, Joe is dead. He goes to the great beyond. He doesn't go
Mm-hmm.
back. And that's one of the things that bugged me about this movie was like, you don't technically get a second chance at life. When you're dead, you're dead.
No.
Like you don't come back to
Yeah.
life. Like you can go through shit like adult wise, like rehab, like, alcoholism, depression, all that stuff. And
Yeah.
then you can get a second,
Finding
get a second
Jesus.
chance at, your, at finding your, I guess, purpose in life, or your passion in life. But when you're dead, you're dead. Like the,
Well, to be fair, in the movie, I guess he's in a coma. But no, I see your point
like I feel like it
exactly.
was a
Yeah.
very cop out thing to do to give him that
Yes.
second
Yeah,
chance,
I
and I
think
was
so.
like, are you just doing this because it's a kids movie? And the article did say that
Yeah.
they were kind of going back and forth of like, okay, well, what's appropriate, what's right, and they said that it's appropriate for the character, but I don't know. I'm calling shenanigans on that. I'm thinking, I think you really just did this for the kids because then you get into an awkward conversation probably with the parents and the kids, like, what happened to that man? Like, where did he go?
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
to the farm with your dog that also went there. like I don't know. Like I feel like it was it didn't take the risks fully, which maybe I would have appreciated more, and it just played it a little too safe. And again, the aftermath stuff I already complained about.
Yeah.
uh,
Oh,
yeah.
I could see it appreciating the movie as he finds his purpose as being a mentor in the afterlife. I could see that more than how it actually ended.
Mm.
If yeah, I think so. But
I think the movie did kind of play it safe. I didn't mind the ending. I kind of like was at first going to accept it, like, okay, I think he lived his life, you know. But then again, like he realized what he could do with his life right after they gave him that opportunity, because he helped a he helped 22, a person that was super difficult to find its passion or its emotion, and he helped that way beyond. And I think those people, the gods, were like, you know what, I don't think you fully lived your life, go enjoy. But it could
And
be
see,
very
that's what I wanted to see because then I
mhm.
thought by the end I was like, okay, this is it. This he is a mentor, he is a teacher, but I don't know if that's what he pursued. I'm still confused at the end. Is he pursuing
yeah,
jazz?
Mhm.
Is he pursuing teaching, or is he trying to do both? Like again, it's
probably
that
both.
unknown that's irritating me. It's like I need to know, otherwise I don't understand why you go through this whole journey with me on this movie.
Yeah.
For me, it is about the end
But
result. It is about the destination and not the journey.
No, but you did bring up a good point. Whereas where you are in life and how you perceive this movie, I'll bring it up because New Year's and I was watching. I told you guys in the last podcast, I think, Back to the Future 1, 2, and I didn't see much of 3, but um, yeah, no, I always, you know, when you're younger, like Marty McFly. Nowadays, I'm more like
Brown.
Doc Brown, and I'm liking the third movie more and more as the days and the months and the weeks and the years pass by. I'm more, you know, I more
You look at
look
it differently.
at Doc Brown. Yeah, I'm like you as a father now watching other movies now, you relate more to the father
Yeah.
figure, I assume. But it's just like, oh, I appreciate this movie more now because I'm in a different place in my life, and I'm just like, oh wow, this is so
Mhm.
much better now.
Hmm.
Yeah, I could definitely agree with Sal though. I don't think this is a really like true kids movie. I just watched this movie as in for myself. Like I took the message just for
Right.
myself. For somebody like me who is trying to pursue a career and look for other great opportunities in life to succeed, or just to be happy and feel that security,
Wait, it's not
you know.
podcasting?
That's one of it. Wait, is it a
Uh,
passion, or is it a, I
Purpose.
don't know, I'm on purpose. Yeah, something like that.
yeah,
I would, even though I give it a yellow though, I would still recommend it, especially if you're a Pixar fan. Like I said, the
yeah,
animation is
Hmm.
still top
of
notch.
course.
It's still there. I really do like
Yeah,
the designs that
Yeah,
they did with the afterworld. The
voice acting is pretty good too.
Yeah, I don't know if, well, for me personally, I don't know if it's that memorable. Like I don't know if it's because of like a voice, like a change of voice thing. Like Buzz Lightyear, you memorize a lot of lines from Buzz Lightyear because of this voice.
Buzz Lightyear to the
Woody,
rescue!
Lightning
Yeah.
McQueen,
There's a snake in my boot.
Sully, like all these Pixar characters have great voices. These are just like
Sully?
Monsters Inc.
Oh, I don't know his
But
catchphrase.
like you can recognize their voice. This is like, you know, if you play one line from this movie, I'm not gonna know if this is really a Pixar movie or if it's like a DreamWorks movie or if, like, it could be any number of movies. Like, I don't know. For me, maybe the voice acting is sure they carried out their lines great, but it's just not memorable enough for me. Like, I can't quote anything from this
Got you.
movie. But it's again, I still would recommend anyone watching this. It's still worth watching at least once or twice if you need to figure out what the message is for you.
Or 3 times.
Oh yeah, and with 22 and Joe's body eating that pizza. Oh, that pizza looks so.
Jesus Christ.
I had to say it, guys. I had to bring something in the food and whatever. And the lollipops. Oh, lollipops are my favorite.
You like sucking on something.
Don't we all?
All right, let's.
So, but you know what time it is, right? It's intermission time.
I forgot we even did that already.
the headlines. It's been a very uneventful week as far as entertainment goes. I mean, there's the still usual like lawsuit here and there. The Legendary Entertainment still complaining about HBO. I'm sure video games are going to console wars. That still people are complaining about that. But I pulled up 2 headlines that we can talk about, and a third one that could possibly lead to an interesting conversation. I thought it was really interesting when I read it. It's a video game topic, but I'll save that one for last. We'll move into first a DC topic. Headline goes: Michael Keaton DCEU Batman reports clarified, no information beyond the Flash. So if I take some excerpts from the article, Michael Keaton's Batman is expected to make an appearance in the Flash movie, but he has not been attached to any other DCEU projects at this time. The possibility of Keaton suiting up to play Batman again has been addressed after a recent New York Times profile sparked speculation that the actor will become the new Dark Knight of the DCEU after his role in The Flash. The reporter behind that piece has since clarified the paragraph about Keaton's potential involvement. He was the person that they interviewed says that he was referring to the one film that Keaton was going to be a part of, and not any other saga. So, listeners, to kind of, I guess, clarify this even further, there was a from an interviewer to I guess someone involved in the DC projects, and he asked like, "Hey, we have the Robert Pattinson Batman, and then we know there's this Batman. Is there any plans to continue with another Batman in the DCU?" And the person that was being interviewed said, "We only have these 2 sets of sagas or these 2 sets of films as far as we know." Now, people kind of took that quote and said, "Oh, this means Michael Keaton is going to be the new Batman for the DCEU." However, then the person that was interviewed came back and said, "No, that's not what I meant to say. If I knew any information beyond the Flash, I would say so. I was just referring to the one film that Michael Keaton is part of and Robert Patterson's film, and that is it." So, it's just like a confirmation of there's no confirmation of Keaton ever coming back as Batman beyond the Flash.
Yeah. Oh well. The thing is with the Flash movie that I don't know any information about it except for apparently it's Flashpoint. So like for him to be in the Flash, especially with the Flashpoint storyline, he should be playing Thomas Wayne. As when Thomas Wayne Bruce Wayne's dad when he became Batman.
Yeah.
So probably that's just a little Easter egg that they're gonna probably do, that he's Thomas Wayne instead of Bruce Wayne. Maybe that's gonna be part of it, and it's gonna be a one and done deal. So maybe that. And then I did kind of ran into an article, I think similar as the one that you're mentioning, but he's like almost like rumored or people are hoping for him to be Bruce Wayne, but in Batman Beyond movie.
That would be kind of cool. I could see that.
Can,
Yeah, it would be
yeah,
cool.
can we get the Flashpoint and then can we get Batman in the Batman verse and just have all the Batmans in one fucking movie? I'd
Jesus
pay this. I'd pay
Christ. George
double to see
Clooney,
that.
Val Kilmer,
Yeah.
Michael Keaton, Robert
Um,
Patterson, Ben Affleck. Am I
uh,
missing a Batman?
well,
Oh,
rest in peace,
Christian
Adam
Bale.
West.
Adam
Um,
West. Oh, man.
rest in
Yeah,
peace.
Adam West. Yeah,
What the voice
I want some bat
guy who
nipples.
did? You have the cartoon Batman. Ah, shit. And then Robert Patterson, I guess.
Oh, Kevin Conroy. Yeah, that would
Yeah,
be
yeah,
good.
yeah. I mean, he did do the on
The original
well, no.
animation.
The animated adventures. He did do a cameo in the whatever in the DC WB series. So he was he was like an evil Batman, but
At
not.
the end of the day, Michael Keaton is the only Batman for me.
mm,
He's
I,
Batman. He's Batman. He says it himself, too. He's Batman.
He's Batman.
I'm Batman.
No,
I'm
come on. You say you don't like Christian Bale? I mean,
No.
no.
That was cigarette voice.
The voice really did kill it for me. I was like,
Cigarette
what the
voice.
hell is this? Like, I
I still
again,
like.
I didn't
Come
like
on.
Batman Begins. I hated Dark Knight Rises. But The Dark Knight with Heath Ledger, I think I mainly really liked it because I really loved how Joker was portrayed in that movie, and that was it.
Oh, I love all three of them. I
But
thought
to
they
be
were
fair, Keaton only
great.
had. Well, I guess both. Well, that's also what's his name too. Danny Elfman and fucking. Wow, I'm blanking on his name. Director.
What,
Tim
Tim
Burton.
Burton?
Yeah, but
No, like they had Jack Nicholson as Joker. That was good. That he played
no. But I'm
himself.
saying is all that culminating into what was the movies made it good. I think if it was other directors and other music.
Well,
Well,
what we're not going to really talk about the true hero of the entire Batman world, Arnold Schwarzenegger as Mr. Freeze.
Yeah, but that's fucking
all
George
right, guys.
Clooney.
All right, guys. Chill.
Oh my god.
Jeez,
The
that was
Ice
bad,
Age
but
is dying.
okay.
Well, what killed the dinosaurs? The Ice Age. Oh, we can keep going. I don't want to.
I love that movie. I'll watch that anytime.
No.
That's definitely a made for toys kind of movie,
Oh,
though. It's
for
like
That
sure.
was
because
I
I
still
remember,
have some of those
I
toys.
do vividly remember. I think it was my dad that took me to a Toys R Us, and that was the time the movie came out. I was like, "Oh, I want the Batmobile. I want this Bat boat or whatever they had. I want the
Yeah.
action figure." Like that was definitely a movie made for merchandising.
I'm talking about the McDonald toys. I never even got real toys from it. The McDonald toys.
Oh man, I remember. Was it George Clooney?
Yeah,
The
that was
last two.
With Riddler and Two Face. Yeah, that was George Clooney. When they showed the bat ass and bat
Yeah,
nips,
and the credit card as well.
or was it? Oh yeah,
Oh, and
bat
then
credit
who
card.
played Robin? And then there was that one Easter egg stupid line of "Holy Rock, Batman." No, the Rock. It's what is it? It's hollow or something like that. It was like a stupid Easter egg to the whole, the old school Robin of
Oh,
like
wait a minute. No,
Oh, I think that's
George Clooney just did the last one because before that it was Val
Val
Kilmer.
Kilmer. Yeah, I think.
Val
Yeah.
Coomer. Val Coomer was with the Riddler, right?
I think so. It's
Yes,
been a
Riddler
long
and
ass time.
Two-Face.
Yeah, it's been a long ass time.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
let's talk about this other headline. Ham, you're gonna have to correct me on this because I honestly don't know how to
Shit.
properly pronounce his name. The actor that played Borat, Sacha Baron
Sacha
Cohen.
Baron Cohen.
Sacha Baron Cohen. Okay.
Uh,
Sacha Baron Cohen says there won't be another Borat movie.
that makes sense.
Sacha Baron Cohen has some not so very nice news for Borat fans. He's not planning on bringing the character back for another sequel. In an interview with Variety, Baron Cohen, who co-wrote and produced Borat, subsequent movie film, a follow-up to his 2006 box office smash, said that it's very unlikely that he will revive the Borat character again, as he had a very specific purpose for returning to the role of the fictional Kazakhstani journalist. Journalist last year, which he doesn't think he will be able to find again for a third movie. Quote, I brought Borat out because of Trump.
Of
Baron
course.
Cohen told the outlet, speaking about his decision to reprise the character, there was a purpose to this movie, and I don't really see the purpose to doing it again. So yeah, he's locked away in the cupboard. He also the article continued on about some. He expressed some personal things about how after the first movie he was traumatized, basically because every time he heard a siren or saw a cop or anything that he experienced in the movie, it kind of messed him up afterwards, and he felt very uncomfortable with it. So he's not. I'm surprised he even dared to do the second one because of that purpose. But that's basically what he's saying overall, is that if there ever is going to be a third movie, which he does not plan to do one, but if there is, it would have to be for a very specific and important purpose for it.
Well, I mean, he can't even really do Borat because everyone knows Borat. Even in this last movie, he's barely Borat in the entire movie. That's not in America. Well, in America, he's barely in it because he has to dress up as somebody else. Because he even makes fun of it. Does everyone recognizes him? I mean, he goes into a shop where there's a costume that is Borat that he's trying not to be Borat. So I don't even see it possible to do that. I mean, I'm sure he could do a second Bruno or maybe a second The Dictator, whatever that other movie he did before that. But yeah, it's not feasible whatsoever.
I think I'm just over of the whole entire of him doing his
Shtick
bull rap, like
Bruno. Yeah.
Bruno. Like at a point, it was funny when I was younger, but now like I just find it idiotic now.
I mean, I see both points, but it's just it's getting people into situations, and
It is,
he
but as
sometimes goes overboard.
yes,
And it's like, yeah, that wouldn't happen if you just would have been. But that's what he wants. That's what some people want to see. So I can see both sides. I can enjoy it and be like, all right, that's okay. But then other times it's just like, come
But
on.
well, I have a like it's a different topic, I guess. But
Mm.
like I guess it could both relate somehow. Like how you guys feel if Jackass came back?
I never
I
watched really
I'm sure
Jackass.
a
I didn't
bunch of
care
people
for it.
would watch it. I mean,
Like
To be honest with you, too, with that concept though, I feel like that's already on TikTok and Snapchat and already like that's basically what's happening right now on social media.
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. Okay, I like that.
Hmm.
You can see that for free now,
Yeah, basically.
yeah.
and plenty of it.
All right. Well, so unfortunately, Borat fans just don't expect another one anytime soon. All right,
It's nice.
let's move into this last headline. A very long article that was published about Xbox. This comes from
Uh-oh.
the article I'm pulling. I read this from is from IGN, but they pulled a section out of a longer article from Bloomberg. Now, to just make sure everyone understands Bloomberg, I mean, to be honest with you, I truly don't. But Bloomberg is apparently a global media and financial data and analytics
Yes,
conglomerate. They are responsible for partially responsible for
a lot.
reporting news on a lot of entertainment, movies, TV shows, video
They
games,
own
whatever
a
that came out.
lot.
And they own a shit ton of stuff. So what Bloomberg did was that they had a very lengthy oral history, as they call it, a very lengthy article about the history of Xbox. And part of what IGN reported was on their purpose or their journey to acquire new studios. So apparently they've been trying to acquire studios since the very beginning. The kind of the tag headline here, it says, before the original Xbox, Microsoft looked into buying EA, Square, Midway, and Nintendo.
Damn.
Damn.
In an attempt to secure exclusives for the original Xbox, Microsoft unsuccessfully talked about acquiring EA, Square, Mortal Kombat publisher Midway, and even Nintendo before it found the unexpected trump card of Bungie and Halo. In a fascinating Bloomberg oral history about the creation of the original Xbox, multiple Microsoft executives discussed the company's attempts at acquisitions. The first company approached was EA, which, due to its dominance in the industry at the time, team members apparently called the Snow White to the rest of the industry's seven dwarves. Then head of business development Bob McBrain says the answer was no thanks before Microsoft turned to Nintendo. So EA turned them down at the very, very
Mhm.
beginning.
It's in the
So then,
game.
So so then they went to Nintendo. Steve made us go meet with Nintendo to see if they would consider being acquired. Explains the director of the third-party relationships, Kevin Bacchus. They just, and this is what Nintendo did. They just laughed their asses off. Like, imagine an hour of somebody just laughing at you. That was kind of how the meeting went. It seems that
Nice.
the teams met more than once, with McBreen adding, "We actually had Nintendo in our building in January 2000 to work through the details of a joint venture where we gave them all the technical specs of the Xbox. The pitch was the hardware stunk, and compared to the pitch was their hardware stunk, and compared to Sony PlayStation, it did. So the idea was, listen, you're much better at the game portions of it with Mario and all that stuff. Why don't you just let us take care of the hardware?" But it didn't work out. Then, like the next, again, it's a long history. The other one was kind of interesting. It talked about how they were trying to acquire Square Enix, but it came down to a matter of costs. They couldn't afford Square Enix, so Square Enix turned them down. But I just thought the Nintendo piece was interesting. Like, you must have had some serious balls to go ask Nintendo, like, "Hey, can we buy you guys?"
But how much? That's what I'm thinking. How?
But does it matter? Like, a
Well, no,
Nintendo
no. I mean,
has.
what would be the number where they'd be like, sure, like
Do you
how
think it
many
ever would,
billions?
though?
I mean,
No way. I feel like
Nah, I
Nintendo is just
wouldn't.
one of those companies where they know they got it. Like,
I know,
again,
but I mean, like
we've discussed
eventually,
this
like
before. Nintendo has never really disappointed us in games
no,
overall. Not as much as Xbox, not as much as PlayStation, not as much
but they have their
as, I don't know, on
niche,
the
and
Atari.
like
But like
they
they've
don't
Would you
venture
always
that far out
say?
either.
they've always been mostly like always a good hit with their games. And they've done good consoles, with Wii U being a questionable one.
Yeah,
But
I
even
was
their
about to say that.
handhelds, like, everything has always been good.
Oh, and
It's like
handheld's number one.
what makes you think Nintendo thinks that they're gonna just be like, "Yeah, sure, we'll partner, we'll be part of you." Like, really?
Yeah,
Like,
they would.
I thought that was just
Yeah,
very bold of Microsoft to even try to attempt.
Well, for you to mention of them trying to purchase Square Enix and them were not able to afford it. Well, for them not to able to even afford Square Enix, what kind of mindset did they have? Like, yeah, we'll be able to afford Nintendo for sure.
Well, they did Square Enix after Nintendo. So when Nintendo didn't work out, they were like, "All right, let's
yeah,
try Square Enix."
they're going down the list, Mike.
Well, no, that's the thing though. Even after Nintendo came, like, what was Square Enix was offering? Like, okay, you could buy us, but by how much? Like $10 billion?
Square Enix for 10 billion? Nah, no.
Well,
I
that's
do
the
my
thing though. For them to turn down, like,
That's what I
for
was thinking about Nintendo. Like, how much would like I can't even figure
well,
out.
yeah, well, that's my point. Is that if Square Enix offered a price and Microsoft was like, yeah, we cannot afford that. If you're not able to afford Square Enix, what would have made you think that you're able to afford Nintendo?
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, exactly. I don't think Microsoft could even afford Nintendo. I'm like, I don't need who
But I
Disney.
still feel
I
like
don't know.
the perspective is so weird, though, because it's always been Nintendo and Sony for the longest time, and then Xbox finally came into the picture, and then there's always been three. There's always been like people refer
No,
to as the
Nintendo for a long time, then
right, but it's
Sony and
always
Xbox.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But I'm just saying, like it's always been, as people refer to as, like, the Holy Trinity, right? It's always these three
Well,
major
Sega used to
companies.
be a thing, though.
That was a very niche thing, though. That was like
Uh,
that's like what do
uh,
we have that's a side thing right now? I don't know.
I mean, to be fair, just Sega did have Dreamcast at the end, so it's
Yeah,
not
but that was
during
too.
Sony and PlayStation or PlayStation and Xbox.
I guess I don't know. I've always just looked at Nintendo just being like the big one. Like, it's always been like if we're gonna do the Holy Trinity, right? What was it, the Holy Spirit? The Oh my gosh, I already forgot it.
The
Mother,
Yeah,
Father,
Father,
and
the
the Holy
Son, and the Holy
Spirit.
Spirit.
Like,
Amen.
which
And
one's the
a
highest one? It's
woman.
the Holy Spirit, right? It's
Yeah,
always the Holy Spirit,
I
right?
said it.
So,
Mike knows.
I can't believe we're comparing God to like consoles.
Sometimes I pair
but
God to
that's
me, so it's okay.
but like Nintendo has always been number one to me. Like, no matter
It's
what,
lasted the tail of time or whatever you call it. Yeah, it's
it's always
yeah.
been the top tier. It's like the S tier, I guess, if you want to do it that way. It's
Oh
always
my
been S
god.
tier, and then like the like PlayStation and Xbox has always switched between A and B. It's like some, they had a really good year and then they had a really shitty year and then they had another really shitty year. Or they had a really good, like it's always been flip flop. But so I always think like, what makes any company think that they can go for Nintendo? And this is on Xbox's stuff. I'm like, really? They did this? They tried to buy Nintendo? I don't know. It's just weird.
I mean, well, what? I mean, I could. Yeah, I keep going back and forth. I'm like, maybe Nintendo could buy out Xbox, or I'm like, I mean, that makes more sense, right?
No, I don't think
No?
any. I don't think. Well, I remember there was a point in time, Nintendo was not making as much money when I think it was towards the Wii U. They were
Yeah,
actually losing.
we don't talk about the Wii U.
Well, that's the thing though. If Microsoft had a chance to purchase Nintendo, it was during the times of the Wii U because
Okay.
Nintendo was going through a rough phase with that console because sure there was a couple games that came out that were kind of like what kind of games were memorable for the Wii U?
The one that
Sal,
I played.
like well Paper Mario probably
Did they
for
make
No,
a
no,
new?
they didn't have a Paper
Did they
Mario.
make a new Smash Brothers for the Wii U?
Yeah, of
yeah
course.
they
And
did.
I
That was
played
the
it,
latest
and then I
one.
sold it afterwards.
Well, I was trying to think if they did one for Wii and then Wii U, because the thing with Wii
Yeah.
U was like, weren't a lot of games just ported over to
Was
the
it
Wii U?
Dojo?
Yeah, no, yeah, they made
Dojo, right?
a new Smash for the Wii U.
I remember
Um,
Mario Kart, like,
Star
All
Fox.
right. To
oh,
be
that's right, it
fair,
did
now
have
that
Star Fox.
I'm sounding stupid now, or because it is Microsoft, the whole backing of Microsoft, I
Hmm.
think they do have the money because Nintendo is just Nintendo, Microsoft, computers, software. So yeah, I
Okay,
think they, yeah.
but I'm
Well, I
I'm
would
Thinking about
say,
it,
I'm thinking about it through. I don't know. Again, I don't know the whole
I was just
history
thinking
behind
Xbox.
Nintendo, but
No,
like I guess
Microsoft.
because I'm only thinking current times,
Bill
if
Gates.
I'm the head of Nintendo, who leave me the fuck alone? Like I got this all right. Like I got everything covered. Like I don't need anyone's help. Like why would I have to be bought into another company when
Yeah,
I'm already doing what they're doing or what they're planning
yeah.
on doing, and I'm way ahead of the game and I'm already making millions of money. I have games that appeal to a general all audience thing that makes more money than probably most other companies. Like again, if I'm the head of Nintendo, of course I would laugh at anybody that tries to buy me. It's like, are you serious? Really? Are you sure you don't want me to buy you? Like
Yeah,
I got
I
$2 in my pocket. Like, is that good enough for you?
I fucking and
I guess all.
it's branding too. Like Mario,
Hmm.
who doesn't know Mario? You know.
Of course, Donkey Kong.
Just any
But no,
Mario related character. Any Mario related character. Everyone knows Mario. Everyone knows Luigi,
Mario equals
Yoshi.
Nintendo. Like, yeah, we can say for Sal's sake, Halo equals Microsoft, but
Yeah,
no, not even close to Mario equals Nintendo.
true. Agreed.
Yeah, true. I would say probably the best time to ever to go up to Nintendo was during the Wii U phase.
Even then, I
Um,
think they had it.
well, that's the thing though. I think because at that time, the 360 and the Xbox One was a big hit for Microsoft, and I know they were making a lot more money than Nintendo at the time.
Well, no,
And if they wanted, if they, I think it's true, and I think at that time Nintendo had so much money that I don't think they were worrying about going bankrupt or anything like that. But at the time, it wasn't looking good for them. So
yeah,
I would think that Microsoft will go up to Nintendo again and to try to purchase them.
but yeah, but you're forgetting that. I think me and Sal had this conversation off air. We had the what counts as portable devices. With Nintendo, they have that market corner. No one can touch them. Of course, PlayStation had their PSP or their Vita or whatever. Xbox. I mean, you were trying to count cloud during that conversation. I'm like, shut the fuck up. But Nintendo has that market. There's no one. There's no competition.
Yeah, but do they
So
have that
Right.
do they have that market anymore? Because that's another interesting point. Is like their console
did
now is a
3DS, 2D,
handheld.
yeah.
So is it? Because
Yeah.
they're not they've stopped production on 3DSs. So whatever's out there
Yeah.
is out there. That's it. They're done.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what comes out next.
Do you think they'll go
If there
back to
is
handheld? Because that's where my argument and where we argued about the next console for
yes,
the
yeah,
Switch or
as
for
well.
Nintendo. It's like they have it. Like this is it. All they got to do is just tweak this, like fine tune this, and that's it. They have like the perfect console. It's not up
And
to
I
par with
told
the
you,
specs, but I mean,
yeah,
just it's not about always about the graphics. It's about the gameplay, and all
yeah,
Nintendo games have always been good. Plus, they are adding or testing out third-party titles that they haven't done before, like Skyrim, like Doom.
uh-huh.
Like it's on there, so it's like Nintendo has this on lockdown. Like in
Yeah.
reality, if people want to argue a console wars, Nintendo always wins at this point. Like Nintendo is the S tier. Like nothing beats
Also,
Nintendo.
yeah. Also, as you two argue about Xbox and PlayStation, always everybody like, don't forget about Nintendo, guys. You fuckers. Yeah,
I think I would have liked for Nintendo to come out with more games instead of them focusing
that's true.
on their next console, because just like what
Oh,
Sal said, I think this is the most perfect console that Nintendo can ever come out for them, and they just need to release a lot more games and just focus on gameplay itself.
all right. So what I'm gonna bring up is with the portable console, whatever. Let's say all these portable consoles, not counting the Switch, were Game Boy or Game Boy ish, right?
What do you mean?
Like the Game Boy, the 2DS, the Game Boy
Yeah, what
Advance,
about them?
Game Boy DS, all that. Basically, all of them were Game Boys, right?
Yeah, I mean, if they started
Ish.
out with Game Boys, yeah.
But I'm saying they're not the actual physical console like the N64,
No,
GameCube, Wii
they're a
U.
handheld and not a console.
Yes, okay.
Hmm.
So, in my opinion, well, I'm thinking that's I'm asking Sal and Mike right now. Do you think they'll have another portable device,
No,
as in what I just
no,
no?
No,
that
I
that
think the Switch is
yeah,
perfect.
like that's what I'm saying. Like the Switch is the perfect merger between the two, and it is like the
Mm-hmm.
perfect console. You can use it
Mm-hmm.
on your TV, and you can take it out of the dock and use it as a portable device. Like it's the two-in-one aspect,
Which
and that's why like the Wii U, as bad as it is, it was basically the prototype.
the stepping stone,
Yeah, it
yeah.
was like because you could use that stupid obnoxious controller as like a second screen for some of the
Yeah,
games. It's just no one really
yeah.
ever used it because it was
Yeah,
just
why couldn't I put a
weird.
cartridge in there?
But
Yeah.
so then that was like, hey, we still like this idea, and it was a good idea at the time, and the whole
Yeah.
motion controls it's still good, and they've like this the Switch is like everything they've been building up to.
And to be fair, I did say I wanted that combination. I would like eventually, yeah, can we just do everything on one thing? Whereas I have to buy it. I've never bought a 3DS or 2DS. I stopped at whatever was before that. But
Hmm.
Was it
Yeah.
the
but
Advance?
they haven't combined all the games yet. It's not one. There's still a separation of that with, Luigi Mansion 3. And that's the last thing I can think of because I know
Yeah.
somebody who has the game. But I would like it to become integrated, but I feel like they don't want that because they could have more sales separating the
Wait, what do
two.
you mean?
But I
Like
do
bring
really
in the other titles that were only for the handhelds into the console?
eventually the next console has all of it
Or
combined.
probably
Yeah.
just do like a remaster of all the other
I mean,
games.
not even a remaster, a collection. Isn't that what Mario's doing right now with your 3DS
Yeah.
All Stars or
Oh
whatever?
yeah.
Why
Hmm.
anybody get that?
I'm gonna get it, but we have until
Really?
March. We have until March to get it.
Oh, really? Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah. I forgot
Yeah, I need to buy a
deadline.
Switch by then if I could
Me
find
too.
one.
When's Pokemon Snap coming out again?
well, I guess we'll find out in a month. Again, kudos to Microsoft, I guess, for thinking they can go out and buy all this stuff. But hey,
Yeah, who gave them those
I
balls?
mean, they've made a name for themselves since EA said no to them first, and now they have partly EA Play on their Games Pass. They
Yeah, and they
bought out
bought.
Bethesda,
Hmm.
and they're in the process of no. There's a lot of rumors about what their next target is going to be, but either way, I mean, they're
Target, the actual store Target.
yeah, they're in good shape now, I guess. But it's just interesting that way back then, even before like when the original Xbox came out, they thought they could do this. But hey, it is what it is. Interesting things that you get to find out. So kudos to Bloomberg as well for doing that. It was like I said, I thought it was an interesting topic.
Yeah, that was very interesting. Thanks.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's pretty much it, listeners. You can let us know what you thought about the whole Xbox history and what you thought about Soul on our social media. Mike?
Guys, follow us on Instagram, Twitter. We have a Twitter, right?
Yes, we
Yeah,
do.
YouTube and Twitch. Guys, I promise you, guys, we have to start streaming on Twitch, especially Star Wars.
Yes.
We haven't done that. We need to.
Maybe I'll just stream Cyberpunk on Twitch.
You
and
could.
just
Yeah,
not know
let's-
how to do it and not do anything. Yeah.
Yeah, and guys, follow us on drunkcop.ateacher@gmail.com. Write us an email just saying hi, or is there any other topics that you guys want us to talk about? Let us know. Ham has full access.
I'm looking at the email right now. Let me see. Was I emailing us and I was drunk? I don't know. Or yeah, it's just not loading, guys.
Next week, we will be reviewing the entire season 2 of The Mandalorian. Even though I know everyone's already been talking about, especially the ending of it, we finally get a chance to go through it ourselves, talk to each other about it, because we haven't really said anything to each other about it, except maybe that surprise ending. And that's pretty much it. So you will get to hear our thoughts on it.
Can't wait.
And then, well, that's next week's slot. And I think afterwards it's kind of up in the air because we'll have WandaVision by then, I believe. And then we still have the second part of Transformers that came out.
I'd rather watch the Dino thing that's coming out
What
soon.
Dino thing?
The Jurassic Park thing is coming. The second, the whatever part is coming out.
When's
soon.
it coming out?
I'll look it up right now. I'll tell you. I go to Netflix. I do one of these. Also, there's other few things coming out that I wanted to be like, yeah, this is also coming out. But yeah, I'm just. Oh well, nobody's
Or Cobra
watched that.
Kai, whatever.
Yeah, Cobra Kai. Here you go. January 22nd says season 2 coming. Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous.
Camp Cretaceous.
Yeah, man, I'm drinking.
All right, gentlemen. Any closing words?
Love you all.
Love is love, and have fun.
I got confused what you just said.
Jesus Christ.
You get confused a lot.
We'll catch you guys in the next episode.
Ciao, ciao.
Bye.